So today, went to my favorite store, Micro Center, and I was able to find an open box 6900 XT that used to be the price, but I'm going to tell you the real price, and it's a lot better. So this week, I was able to get this GPU at under MSRP. I'm going to tell you what it is, where it was, and why you maybe should be looking to do the same, because next year is not looking good at all. And if you're building your PC, you're going to need a Windows key. Remember to check out today's sponsor, cdkdeals.com. Yes, these keys are even going to work in Windows 11 whenever you upgrade to that. Very simple process. If you use my code CC20, you're going to get a nice discount at checkout, and it's going to get rid of that annoying Windows watermark when it's not activated. So check out CDK Deals for your CD key needs, and remember, it will work with Windows 11. Now back to the video. Hey guys, Tiago with Classical Technology here. Remember to smash that like button if you like GPUs and possibly under what their MSRP is supposed to be. So smash that like button and make it happen. Alright, so let's talk about this GPU here. I got it for under its supposed MSRP. What is it? It's an AMD 6900 XT. A while back, I made a video saying this GPU is in stock. Why aren't people buying it? And this isn't going to be just the usual Micro Center, even though that is where I got it. It's going to be basically anywhere. You can see this GPU in stock, online. Often on Newegg, it's going to pop up. Sometimes in different retailers, all over the country. It does pop up a lot more often because the price typically was a little bit higher. But recently, because it's been on the shelf for so long and people generally, for some reason, don't like picking this GPU up, the prices have come down considerably more. If you look here on the box, $16.99 was the MSRP sort of listed on the box, and I've seen this go for actually even more, and there are some 6900 XTs that are going for like $2,600. The one with the AIO and some of the water-cooled ones, that's definitely ridiculous. The original MSRP is supposed to be $999. So on the box it says $16.99, but let's take it a step further. They recently reduced this price to $14.99, even though that's still $500 over the MSRP. This is going to be a third-party AIB model, so this would never be $999 anyway. Most likely this would be maybe $1,100 to $1,200 in sort of a climate where we don't have GPU shortages. It would have been $100 to $200 more. That's typically the pricing for these type of very high-end GPUs. So to take it even further, this was, if you look on the side here, this was an open box GPU, $1,349. Now, that's under its MSRP. Its MSRP right now is $14.99, so you're saving $150 there. So if you look at it, $13.49, that's about $350 over the reference AMD 6900 XT, which is $999. And during a regular MSRP period, maybe something like this would be like $11.99. So really, it's only about $150 over even the best case scenario MSRP and under the current MSRP. So generally, that's what I really like to call a very good deal in today's market. People are easily spending $1,500 to $1,600 plus on similar 6900 XTs, and even the 6800 XT, believe it or not, is priced pretty much around the price of this open box. Some of them are $1,400 to $1,500, and that's going to be a 6800 XT. Now, of course, the 6800 XT still performs very well. It's not that huge of a gap between these two GPUs, but any day of the week, I'd rather have a 6900 XT. It's just going to be the better bin, higher performing GPU across the board. Now, I want to cover two things. Why I think a 6900 XT, sometimes when you get them like this for a better price, is a really good deal, and what you should know about what's going to happen in the future. So first, let's take the 6900 XT and compare it to NVIDIA's best GPU, the RTX 3090. Now, this runs pretty much toe-to-toe with the RTX 3090 in traditional rasterization in most games, and there are even some games that this is going to flat out beat the RTX 3090. If you look at the prices for the 3090s now, even the MSRPs are around $2,200, $2,300. Definitely, you're not going to find a $1,500 RTX 3090 unless you get extremely lucky with one of these Best Buy drops that happened a couple times during the year. So in many games, especially like 1440p and resolutions a little bit lower than 4K, 6900 XT performs really, really well. The only gaming area really where the RTX 3090 is going to be superior is going to be when you have, ray tracing and NVIDIA's DLSS. While the AMD GPU can do ray tracing, it's still not on the same level, and AMD's FSR technology, their super sampling, the high resolution technology like AMD's DLSS, certainly is not yet on the same level of NVIDIA either, but the 6900 XT has certainly improved a considerable amount since it was originally released with sort of different driver optimizations. People often say AMD GPUs age like fine wine, and in many cases it actually turns out to be true. So as long as you have that in mind, that ray tracing isn't going to be as good as on NVIDIA, you have an absolutely killer GPU for what is almost $1,000 less from the RTX 3090. Now, don't get me wrong, the RTX 3090 does have other benefits that you may be interested in. First, the mining performance, if you're a crypto miner of the RTX 3090, pretty much blows away the 6900 XT. That kind of explains why it's $1,000 less. It's literally around half the mining performance that you're going to get. Nothing's capped on it or anything like that. It's just sort of the limitation of the type of VRAM that it has and the speed. Similar to the 6800 XT and 6800, they all sort of have that like 60 megahash per second mining, between 60 to 64, while the RTX 3090 can go up as high as maybe 120. So that's why a lot of people don't want to buy these. They're still cheaper than the RTX 3090, but if you're going to be using this GPU to basically just play games and you want fantastic performance, at least for the price that you're going to be paying in 2021, this is a very solid option. Now, another thing that the NVIDIA GPU has, of course, it has 24 gigabytes of VRAM, and it is the faster GDDR6X VRAM. This is both good and bad. It's good if you're a content creator or you need to use that VRAM in certain games. It definitely does come in handy. It's a very fast VRAM, but the negative side, it gets really, really hot. We've even done a video on how the thermal pads on the 3090 are often not sufficient to be able to handle these VRAM temperatures, and you have to either water cool it or upgrade them. So that's definitely a big cause for concern. While the 6900 XT definitely runs considerably cooler, draws a lot less power as well. It's much more efficient with a TDP of 300 watts as opposed to the 3090, which runs 350 watts plus. So that's another factor to figure in. You can get a little bit less and cheaper power supply with the AMD GPU compared to what you would be able to get on the 3090. And of course, there are other NVIDIA specific technologies that you may be interested in. So certainly not to say that that huge price difference is always justifiable, but you can definitely make a case for it. 3090 is definitely a fantastic GPU. As you go down the line, while the 3080 does have a lot of benefits, the 6900 XT really is meant to go up against the 3090. And let's be honest here, the pricing of the RTX 3080, it's almost as crazy as the 3090. Most of them seem to be going for double to almost triple their MSRP. So even in that sense, you're getting an even better deal because you're not going to be able to find an RTX 3080 likely for the same price as I got the 6900 XT. And if you're doing pure gaming, the 6900 XT generally will be the better choice, aside of course from ray tracing consideration. And this is why I would say you should likely look at acquiring a GPU now if you can, and sometimes you can. There are GPUs in stock. It may not be optimal. You may not be able to get the exact 3070 or 3080 that you want. You may have to go for like an AMD GPU, and right now the prices, while they're still terrible across the board, it can get considerably worse because from everything that we've been seeing, I believe that next year is going to be even worse for pricing. It doesn't seem like any of the manufacturing has caught up at all. There are various factors that could actually make these GPU prices go up even more, and I think we're going to start to see an even more aggressive shift right around the holidays, right around the shift of the new year from 2021 to 2022. That's around the same thing we saw from last year, right as we went into January, when a lot of things actually went into effect, like the different tariffs, and people really started to feel all of manufacturing backups, and it really started to affect the supply chain. We really started to see it right in the beginning of the year, and I think after the demand that will come with the holiday season, we're going to see a very, very tricky beginning of the year, likely with GPU prices not coming back down to even what they are now for a very long time. The other very significant factor, while I say it might be a good idea to get something now while you still can before the prices go up, it looks like cryptocurrency, especially Ethereum, once again, it's been pushed back to around June of 2022, what they call a difficulty bomb, which was supposed to reduce the mining profitability by a considerable amount. That was supposed to happen actually now, like like this year. But once again, and this is very common, they've pushed it back, several months into the middle of next year, which then they'll most likely push it back again. It seems like they never really want it to happen. They always keep pushing it back. What that means is, in combination with that, and I don't know if you guys saw the price of Ethereum today, it is pretty much a record high, higher than even it was back in May. It looks like the trajectory is going higher and higher as we go towards the end of the year, and that only means one thing. GPUs are going to be out of stock even more aggressively than they are now, meaning prices are going to go up even higher. That's why I jumped on this 6900 XT, the open box price for what it is, because I really wanted to game and to test games and to benchmark. So for me, it's absolutely perfect. And I think it's actually, if you're looking for a high-end GPU, it's going to fit the bill for a lot of people as well. And I think this price, once again, is going to continue to climb up. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Just wanted to share with you the 6900 XT, especially if you're looking for a high-end GPU. And I know not everybody wants to spend that on that budget, but it seems like even a 1660 Ti is going for like $500 or $600, which is half the price of this. So it's not like you have a choice anymore. This is no longer sort of just a high-end price. It's the price for even sort of a basic, nicely performing GPU, which is definitely unfortunate. But keep your eyes out. Remember to subscribe. I'm going to be covering the GPU market in even more detail. Little things like this pop up. And if you're looking for a GPU, I suggest that you also look for open box items and things like that. You never know, you may get a deal that, while it's not the cheapest that you would like, certainly is a much better deal than you were expecting and that you may get during the next year. So remember to subscribe, smash that like button, and I'll see you guys on the next video.